Welcome to the Can Be podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Castle. I am fired up, totally excited, and inspired by conversations about living life by design, knowing that we can be anything or anybody we choose to be. To me, it's just simple. If life isn't what you want it to be, I believe we all have the power within to change our life just by changing our thoughts. It's a choice. This is why life is designed by us, through us, with decisions we make every day, every moment of every day. In my podcast today, I have a good friend of mine, Oliver White. Oliver is just so great at just being himself. And I will introduce you and really cool conversation that we're going to have today. All right, Oliver. So I have introduced you as the musician that you are, magician. I always say musician. I kind of get it all mixed up. It's kind of the same thing, though. You are a musician also. Yeah. So, and I know that your genre is Americana on the side of rock and blues end. So. You say that as if I would know the difference. I mean, to me, you're just this talented, ultra talented guitarist and singer and creative. And so tell us what you mean by the Americana side of rock and blues.
Well, when I tell people that we're an Americana band, they automatically think of like Red Dirt and country and folk. And Americana really encompasses all American music, and it combines all those styles. So we have a little bit of influence from country and a little bit of influence from some of those types of music, but for the most part, we're influenced by blues and rock. And so that's Americana.
You know, one of the things that I just love about you, and I call you my friend too, because we're friends, right?
We are friends.
Okay. You hesitated. No one, you guys listening, his hesitation is his connection, not because he had to think whether or not we're friends.
That's true. That's true.
We're friends. But anyway, what I love about you, one of the many things that I love about you is you know who you are. So you're very specific about the rock and blues that you guys play. But I know, I mean, you have played for me at events. You're real clear about who you are. So it's not like you're just being real, like, let me define what kind of music you would expect to hear from us. You're real clear, like, this is what I do, and this is what I do well, and I am good staying in my lane. Because I have asked you to do other stuff, and you're like, I don't do that. So you don't just get up there and get on stage and just pretend to be whoever everybody wants you to be. You're just Oliver White.
Right. It's who I am, you know, and I'm becoming more and more proud of who I am and kind of embracing who I am. And I think everyone should do that.
I do too. And what's been fun about just and for those of you guys who are just curious about what I'm talking about, just go to this Facebook and just see Oliver is really good about just putting himself out there. He's very respectful of anybody that thinks differently, but you're always expanding people's mind. Like, could you possibly see it a different way? I'm not telling you have to, and I'm not telling you that this is right and this is wrong, but could you possibly see it a different way? You're always pushing people to really look at it differently. And it's always interesting. You'll post something and I'll turn to my husband and I'll go, oh my gosh, you got to see what envelope he just opened. And it's always just interesting just to read the feedback, but you're that way in every aspect of your life. And I just appreciate and respect that. You know, most of the time I see eye to eye with you, but even if I didn't, you know, I love you for who you are and I respect you for that. And oh my gosh, what a kind of world this would be if everybody just accepted each other as who we are.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it helps people to find out things on their own. And that's kind of what I try to encourage people. I don't want to force my opinions on people, but
Mhm.
if they hear my opinion and it causes them to think differently and maybe opens up a new,
Mhm.
for lack of a better term, but opens up a new world for them. I mean,
Mhm.
that's kind of how I've come to be who I am. It's just
Mhm.
searching myself and looking at my own world and finding out what's real and what's not.
Mm. So true. And, I remember as a kid, I was, growing up, and this is just the era I grew up in. And I think I'm a little bit older than you are, but still, I think you might relate. I remember always being told, well, because I said so.
Hmm.
Like, don't question this. It's because I said so. And typically, whatever they were telling me was because they were told because I said so. And
Right.
so it's really been interesting to see in the last couple of years how people are really starting to question that because I said so's in their life.
One of my most unfavorite terms is "that's the way it is." That's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
That
Yeah.
implies that I'm not going to do anything about it. That's just the way that it is, and that's how it's going to be. And
Mhm.
if we apply that to our own lives, then we're never going to grow.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
What
the point.
information is out there that we just haven't even expanded on because that's just the way it is.
Hmm. That's right.
Yeah. So, but what really caught my attention and what I wanted to talk about is um, how I've watched you in the last couple of years, and maybe this was the beginning, maybe this is just the first time I noticed it. You reached out and said, "Hey, I'm collecting water for the homeless camps."
Yeah.
And what I knew from the homeless camps is, and I have some experience with the homeless camps and working with that whole community and helping them in ways that they're willing to receive help, because they all receive help in different ways. Some of them don't want to be helped. Some of them do want to be helped, and they all want to be helped. I can't assume how they want to be helped and just all of a sudden just, you know, here's blankets, here's socks, when that's not really how they want to be helped. Maybe they have plenty of those and they need something else.
Yeah.
But you were asking for water, and you said you were going to go to the homeless camps. And I know that you don't just go, oh, there's a homeless camp over there and I'm going to go walk and give them water. That's not how it works. They aren't just real opening up of, I mean, because from a defense standpoint, they don't just let everybody into the camp and you go, here's water.
Yeah.
Was that the first of your experience with the homeless camps and that whole community?
Yes.
How'd
Yes, it
that
was.
start?
It's funny because I was talking about civil rights,
Mm,
and someone suggested that I do something different to help people, and they mentioned the homeless, and they said that there was a big camp of homeless people in Sherman, Texas, and that I should go there. So I said, okay, let's go.
mm,
So we went. This person
mhm.
went with me, and we started trying to interact with people. And at this point, this is when the murder had happened. Are you familiar with the
Oh,
murder?
yes, I do remember. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
that right. I think the week before we went there, and the city had gone in and cleaned all of that out. So all of the homeless people just kind of dispersed,
Mhm.
and we kind of had to go find them. So that's really where it all started, and we just kind of met with some of them and asked what they needed, and just kind of gathered up things that we thought they may need, and started putting it out there, delivering it.
Well, and it's a little bit helpful that you are you've got long hair, and I mean, you didn't go out there in a business suit and just start, here's a bunch of stuff. Now accept this help that we're
Yeah.
giving you and be grateful for it. Um,
Yeah.
I know that you're,
We're all individuals too, and they all feel differently than each other, and it's difficult to pinpoint this person's going to really love this can of bug spray. They may have a
Mhm,
perfect can, they don't need bug spray, but
mhm.
everybody has individual needs and wants,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to pinpoint.
So I just have to ask, and I have my own story with a lady that used to live on the streets and is now in a home and a job and has a purpose and is thriving. And it's just an incredible story. And it really started with being seen
Mhm.
and feeling heard. And there's one thing that you were talking about the other day, that when you posted it about a visit that you had made at the camp, being able to see, I mean, like really physically see them and try to be eyeball to eyeball and connect and have that conversation. Not everybody is willing and even able to accept that as the gift that is being offered to them.
Mhm.
Because of guilt or shame or just pure embarrassment. But have you found that to be, I mean, how many of them do you actually able to have a meaningful conversation and connect with them?
Many of them. Many of them have become like friends to me. I see them every week, so we're kind of connected, and it's kind of hard not to take it personally. You know what I mean? And I've heard some terrible things. Um,
Oh, the stories of how they ended there.
or
Yeah.
some of those, some of the stories about what happens to them when they get there.
Oh, absolutely. Can't even imagine.
No, it's unimaginable.
It's
I'm not
not, it is, it's not a safe place for people to live. It's not a safe, there's nothing about it that is
no.
safe.
I've never experienced any hostility from any of the homeless people that I've worked with.
Mhm.
I've experienced some fear. You
Mhm.
know, some of them they're very careful about who comes into the camps, and
Right.
they're cautious.
Well, and when I say safe, I don't mean from a mental health standpoint. I mean safe as in their living conditions.
Mhm.
I mean, think about it. They don't have running water. They don't have plumbing. They don't have, I mean, anyway. But not everybody has the ability or desire to go to the camps and connect and really have those relationships. So if people have a heart and they really, everybody has a heart. If that is something that they would like to help in some way, how do they? I mean, there are so many different agencies. Is there a specific agency? How do people help? How do they get?
I work through Shared Ministries here in Sherman, and they take donations. There will be food trucks that, like a truck breaks down and the food is going to spoil, so they ship the food to this food bank. Excuse me. And people will donate money and time. One of the things that this particular food bank is really needing is volunteers to come and help at the food bank.
Help do what?
Help to gather up the food, put it on carts, get it ready for people like me to pick up. Because on Thursdays, it's anybody can go there and get food. You can get a sack of food. Anyone that needs food can get a sack of food. And I was picking up 15 sacks of food, which is that's not the way it works there. So they moved me to Mondays and made me a distributor. So I go and pick it up on Mondays, and it's just food in boxes for about 20 people. And I sack it up and take it out to folks that need it.
You know,
But
yeah.
the people at Share Ministries need more people to come in and help to get all this stuff.
Like the chef, I mean, put it on the shelf and sort it and sack it, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, go get it out of the cooler, go get stuff out of the cooler and bring it to the space where they put it all in the carts, just different things.
So not everybody listening is in this area. So, I know there's all kind of organizations out there, and I just homeless population is only going to grow,
Right.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And so finding a way that you can give in a meaningful way for Oliver, that choice has been to actually physically go deliver the food to the camps and actually see people, hear people. And, that's a basic need, is to be seen and heard. And so that's a gift that not everybody is willing to do, but we can all give in our own way to our communities. I know that some cities are more tolerant than others about the homeless folks hanging out in different places. So, not knowing where everybody is at, it's really important that you know where your advocacy centers are, where those agencies are, so you can get the food to the camps where people are.
Mhm.
But I know from my experience too, like Grand Central Station is a great resource for us. And there is actually a program that helps them get their ID again, because without ID, you can't get a job. But even whenever you get a job, maybe there's a disability and they've lost their disability because they no longer had an address to receive a check, and none of that can be done without a bank account. Like, there's so much red tape that sometimes the biggest help that you can do is literally help people read the forms, fill out the forms, and take them to the appointments. Go into the Social Security office to get an ID again. And then you have to go and get ID, you got to go to your public records at the courthouse. And then after you get the ID, get that part going, then going to the driver's license office and getting an ID. It is weeks of filling out paperwork, standing in line, just so you can get a job.
Yeah.
If someone is willing to hire you. And there's a lot of them in those situations only because they can't do all of that. Maybe they can't read well enough to fill in the blanks.
Right.
There's just so many other ways that we can help. And I know the Grand Central Station's got a program that really helps them through that whole process. And again, in every town that is possible. So sometimes the biggest help you can do is just go hold someone's hand through that process.
Give them a ride or something, because a lot of those people don't have cars.
Absolutely. And in this particular situation where there's a lady that I've helped off the street, teaching her how to even use TAPS bus as her transportation is a learning curve. That's a process. And so learning what is your public transportation that is available to you and how do you even use it? They don't know.
Right.
They don't know.
And a lot of things change too. Recently you brought up TAPS, and recently they've made some changes that have made it a little more difficult for some of these people to get a ride. And that's just something that I learned last week. And I would never have thought about it because I don't have to depend on something like that. But there are all things that we don't really think about that are
totally take for granted.
Yeah.
So I love that you are true to who you are. What you see is what you get. This is Oliver White, and you're also just such an advocate and such a friend to our community in so many ways. And I appreciate that. What do you want to share with people about what you do and what's important to you? What's your message?
I feel like we're all here to serve. We're all here to serve one another. Everybody, all of us are here to serve one another. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is be someone who serves. And I don't expect any kind of reward or anything. It just, I had a friend that helped me for a while, and he said, man, I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't doing this, but it would not be good. It would not be good. This gives me a good feeling. I feel like I'm helping people, and he doesn't help me anymore, but he's got his own thing that he's doing to help people. So it was kind of a launch pad for him. But yeah, I would just say, be the best person that you can be, and help whoever you can.
Because that's your legacy. That's what you leave behind.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. I several years ago, I I was challenged. I was challenged by someone to write my own eulogy, and though that sounds like an awful assignment, it changed my life. Because if you live in reverse, like, okay, if this is how I want to be remembered, and I want to be, this is how I want my grandkids to think of me when I'm gone, or this is the thing that I want the grandkids to go, I'm going to do this today because that's what my Mimi always did, and I want to do that in honor of her. Like, if you're real clear about how you want to end life, it's a lot easier to figure out how you're going to fill it in,
Yeah. That's
So,
true.
I mean, whether that's tomorrow or it's 20 years from now, I don't want there to be any question about how I impacted my grandkids and how that helps them make better decisions moving forward on,
Right.
Serving, like you said, just being of service.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Serving each other.
Yep, absolutely. And the other thing, on this podcast, I just remind everybody, listen, you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to be an asshole, just be an asshole, but be an asshole all the time. If you
I
want
do
to
it
be
sometimes.
you're an asshole sometimes.
I'll be an asshole sometimes. Yeah. I mean, that's something that everybody is also, we all have a rough day every once in a while. And sometimes
just be real. I mean, just be real. Just be you.
But as an asshole, I will apologize.
After you're done being an asshole.
Yeah, I'll try to make it right.
Yep. Well, I thank you so much for joining me today and just sharing the message that yes, you're extremely talented on the guitar. You can sing. I don't know if you can dance. I've never seen that, but you're great on stage. But you're just a great dude, and it just reminds me. Huh?
You never dance?
Mm-mm.
That's because I'm terrible at it.
I thought you were going to promise me a dance next time you come in.
No, I promise you I'm not going to. Yeah.
But you're just it's just a reminder whenever I saw your post the other day that you help us all to expand our mind, think outside of the box, think for ourselves, and just go be of service, find your thing and go do more of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what I say.
Yeah. Yeah. And your new thing is skateboarding, and I love that too.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And that's another way to help people. I see a lot of kids or even adults, people my age that are just getting back into it, and they have questions, and if I can help, I help there too. It's I don't know. I try to keep that in every aspect that of my life,
Yeah, you're of service sprinkled throughout your entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go write a song about that.
I'm going to meet with a guy tomorrow at the skate park to talk about service. We're going to talk about service and what we can do. Yeah.
The Church of Oliver White.
I've been approached about that too.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Can Be podcast. Share with your friend, share with family. If this message can help and inspire others, get it out there and leave us a review, subscribe so you are aware of the next episode of the Can Be podcast. Thanks so much.